Today we're going to be comparing the two types of Dover traditional, the old one versus the new one. Let's get started. Hello guys, today we're going to be comparing the two types of Dover traditional. You got the old push button one, then you got more like the flimsy style. Now before we deep dive into both of these, we're going to take a look at how each one is. Now you can definitely tell this one right here is the older version. What's interesting about this one, this is not a call station, but rather a fire service add-on, as well as the door close edition, which is unusual for Dover in the 70s. Now these buttons have been made since the late 60s, but have been around until, say, the mid-late 70s. Now there's three different types of older traditional made. You got the white button with the black halo, you got the rarer early version which has the white halo and black button, and then you got the all black button, which is mostly used for door controllers and alarm, but can rarely be used on stuff like, say, for freighters. As you can see, we got the all black button. As you'll see here, this button actually pushes in and makes a clicking sound. It's actually really satisfying to push, I don't know why. Right below it is a fire service key. And then we got this one right here. This is the ones that have been around since at least the late 70s, but they've been starting popping up around the mid 70s. These are very not good to press. As you can see, they don't really press in that much. They honestly feel kind of finicky, and you'll see why that is. But you can definitely hear what sounds like a tapping sound, which is strange. It is worth noting that there was a slight redesign for these buttons, so you can see these are kind of recessed as well, but around 1990, the button caps stick out more. And that's the version that Dover would use until Dover closed down, and was used by ThyssenKrupp up until late 2007. To show the backsides of both of these traditional stations, I want to show something very funny. So I got the impulse panel, and you got the fire service key here, which you can turn many different ways. But we'll take this key out, and we'll want to put the key in here. It does require kind of work, but once it's in, well, you know, it actually works. Now compared to the other one, this one only goes to two directions, on or off. Also worth noting is that both the key switches have kind of the same kind of key lock, which is interesting. Now we're going to compare the two backsides of the traditional stations, which is very interesting. Starting off with the older one, you can kind of see the very interesting base right here. And so what happened is that the button cap actually has these like little things on the side, which actually pushes the button down. You'll see it in action. You know, it's got springs to spring it back up, and once it's pushed down, the circuit is complete. And that's that. Here's the key switch right here. You can see it turn. You also see it kind of moves a little bit. I guess it's not really holding on that great, but you can see how that kind of works. Now the newer button is actually kind of interesting. As you can see, it's very interestingly built, and you'll kind of see how it kind of functions. So those two white pieces right there is actually the button itself. And you can kind of see the button inside there where the lamp is. But what happens is once you push down on it, it pushes down those two things right there and completes the circuit. You can barely see it, and it barely moves, which kind of explains why it kind of feels so finicky and cheap sometimes, is because it doesn't really move that much. Which is a very interesting button layout, I must say, even though I don't really like how it pushes. So that's how each button functions, but we won't go deep into that. We're going to take a look at each component inside the buttons and see how they work. Let me tell you, taking these buttons apart was something else. So this is what's left of the older traditional, and here's the button itself. And right here is the newer one. As you can see, some wires are attached, but I'm not going to take them off. But we're going to take a closer look at each one. As you can kind of see here, there's two more screws that you need to take off in order to access the inside of the button. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Once the screws are off, you can take this off, and there's the button itself. This is how it kind of works. As you can see, there's two pieces. That's actually what pushes down on those black pieces, which is interesting. There's spring and stuff, which provides its bounciness, and very interesting system. Here's the inside. And a lamp socket would go there, but considering that this was not meant to light up, it doesn't have a lamp socket, but it's a very interesting button, nonetheless. One more interesting thing I'd like to point out are the two little holes you see right there. They actually have a purpose. As you can see, there's two little nubs on this little cover here. So, you just kind of light them up, and the button is placed on there. Now we got the newer traditional button. Now you can just easily take this little cover off, like so. And there's the inside. So here's the back of the base. You can see the little lamp right there. That's what lights up the button. But what's interesting is the button itself. So you can see there's like two little things here, which is what holds it to the base. As you can see, there's little two spots right here and here. And this is basically how the button works. You just push down on it and it just pushes down a little bit. There's also the button cap on it, which unsurprisingly is damaged because they do not really hold up that well. And once you're done with it, you can just put the little cover back on and tie it back down. Now that it has the cover back on, you can now push the button. And that's how my newer traditional button works. And that is a comparison of these two Dover traditional buttons. Each one is different in their own way, and safe to say I like this one better for obvious reasons. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison video, and if you want more, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.